presentation switcher has the PC, the camera feed, and the DVD or Blu-ray player available for the projectors. The red is active and blinking green is ready to switch. To switch, I will just go over, and now red is the camera. The secondary monitor in front of the presentation computer actually doubles the projectors, so anything that the projectors are doing, the secondary monitor is as well. Alright, in Easy Worship, we'll first we'll open it up here on the desktop, and then we've got, of course, you're familiar with just being able to open up a file that's already on here, and then of course we can browse, and eventually we'll be able to go to network and see the we'll go to all files down here, and we'll be able to see the other computers and everything once that's set up. We'll be able to load it in that way. Otherwise we can just open something there. So but starting with a new show, we've got our media tray down here at the bottom, which has, of course, our songs, scriptures, media, and presentations and themes. Okay, under each one, of course, on the left side is some different options. If we've got Song Select and we have subscribed to that, then we can select Song Select, sign in to Song Select, and actually search for songs in Song Select there. All songs is everything that we've got loaded on the computer itself, which right now we have all of the traditionals that are open are public domain songs, and but anything that you enter manually and save will be here as well. And then of course next is our scriptures, and we've got 3 versions loaded right here, but there are more available that we can load in there, and we can search as well here. Media, we've got videos, images, feeds, DVD, and audio. Feeds is what we were talking about. If you could actually import the camera feed in and then back out for the live stream and things like that. And DVD, if we click on DVD, it's going to be searching for a DVD. If we have a DVD loaded, it will pop up there, and we'll be able to pull in. You can set markers and all kinds of stuff there to play a DVD straight on the computer itself. And then audio is just basic MP3 or WAV audio files. There's some other things here that they're selling you with the premium media and things like that. But all in all, you can bring in any videos or images. We use some different sources for things that we do to be able to get royalty-free media for different things. And then the next one is presentations. You can, of course, create your own presentation in Easy Worship using their formats, but you can also, down here, instead of hitting the plus, if you hit plus, it's going to start a new presentation. You can click the arrow beside it, and you can import a PowerPoint file and bring that in, and it will show it as well. And then in themes, it's odd that they have themes here in the media tray because it's a little bit unrelated. It basically lets you set themes for the different things that you're doing. I can right click on any theme and I can edit it, edit presentation theme. I can import, export, but I can also then here set as default presentation theme. And if I have things in my schedule, I can hit update themes in schedule, and it'll apply it to what I'm already working on as well. Alright, so that's our media tray. In our schedule is this big block right here, and I know you're probably already familiar with that, but I can drag anything into my schedule. If I go to songs and count your blessings right here, and I'll just drag that in. and I'll build my service out in a linear form from the beginning of the service to the end of the service with all the different media, scripture, songs, everything that I need in there that way. And yeah, and so that's basically in my presentation. I can even drag a presentation in, and you can see all the slides will appear here. Okay, and up here we've got our, of course, our Go Live button, which if you double click, it's going to go live. You've got our alerts, which we'll talk about in a minute. We've got our logo, black and clear. The logo button will, whatever that you've set for that. So I can go to my images. I can choose any image that I have. I can right click on it and use as logo background and click there. And then when I click the logo button, it'll actually superimpose that image. Most of the times it can be a church logo or something like that. Black just superimposes a black slide over what you're working on. And then clear actually just takes all of the words off and leaves the background. So anything that's above the background, it removes and leaves the background, which is kind of handy if you're just in between songs and you just want to take the words off until you get to the next song. Okay, so let's go back and talk about alerts real quick, because it's randomly placed here. But alerts allow us to send a message to the live, which is the front projectors, or the foldback, which is the display on the edge of the balcony. And I can, I'll click on foldback, and I'll click right here on message alerts, and I can create or edit an alert template or add a simple message alert. So if I add a simple message alert, then it allows me to type that out, and I'll hit OK, and it'll pop up here. And then I can build those out, so I have some common ones, and I can go to it and double click on any of those, and it'll run on the foldback TV. Now I'm going to be careful, because if I click live and do it here, I can do a nursery alert. So if there's a number assigned to each child or something like that, I can do a nursery alert here. But any message that I run on the main screens, everyone will be able to see. So, all right, so that's alerts. Let's talk about over here on the other side. We've got, of course, our new show, open show, save the show, which I recommend clicking often. And then we've got the store, where again you have the opportunity to purchase some of their backgrounds and videos and things like that. And then you've got web, which if I click on web, basically it takes me to the Easy Worship site. It's just an internet link. And then remote. So remote's kind of neat. Not many people utilize this feature, but if you have a device on the same wireless network, then it will pop up here, and you can double click on it, and you can download the Easy Worship app, and you can get a very simple lineup of your schedule there and click through it from a device. So you could actually be at the pulpit with Easy Worship loaded on a phone or an iPad or anything like that, brought up, and be able to control it remotely. All right, and so the really in our tabs up here, the most important thing right here, if you'll go to Edit and Options, that's how you access all of the settings. That's where it's all hidden. So you can see our settings come up, and we've got our main output, and it's assigned to monitor 2. And then I can make adjustments as to how my songs are laid out, what font, the scripture, all of that. And it applies those settings instead of to a theme. It applies it to everything that's going to the main output. If I go to foldback, it's the same. I've enabled the support for the foldback stage display. It's going to monitor 3, and then I've got some options here where I can enable the next item info. So basically, if you're doing a song The first line of the next song will appear at the bottom as a lead in. You can choose the background color. We've got it set to black, so it'd be high contrast, more easily visible no matter what the background color is, or the background at the for the main projectors. So there's all the adjustments there. And then we've got some other things going on here. We've got we can go over to alerts and clock and make adjustments there, size and all of that. On the live streaming system, we've got camera 2, which is the right camera, camera 3, which is, the left camera, SEI 3 is the right camera. SEI 1 is going to be the rear camera over the doorway. Our Roland switcher has green is preview and red is program. So anything that I select in preview mode is ready to go, and it illuminates it as a green ring on the preview monitor, and then as I transition it will shift to that. The camera controller is, the joystick is twist to zoom in, counterclockwise, clockwise to zoom out, and then I've got up, down, left, right for each camera. How I select a particular camera is it's going to mimic the here. So I've got camera 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. So I'm going to be camera 1 is the rear camera, 2 is the left camera, 3 is the right camera. So if I select a camera, any of the cameras, and then I have control of that camera, and then when I want to control a different camera, I just select it, and then I have control of that camera as well. Presets on these controllers are really the way to go. To set a preset, you get the camera exactly where you want it. Make sure you're on the right camera, you get it where you want it, and then you're going to push set and a number and enter, and it will set the scene that you've got the camera on under that number. And whenever I select that camera, I can just hit that button and it will go directly to that position every time. To set up the switcher in your software, in your live streaming software, you're going to want to look for USB capture SDI, and that's going to be the source to bring in the switcher into. Alright, in my DMX, which controls all of our stage lighting and our house lighting, we've got on the desktop, we've got FBC Crossett saved here as a scene, and so all we have to do is open that. I also have the program here, but that program doesn't have anything loaded. You can go in there and then open this program, or you can just click on that. So alright, here we are open, and you can see we've got all of our scenes over here on the side. It mimics the My DMX RM that is here in the rack, and you can see the first thing that pops up is our connected interface. So we'll start in express mode, and now we have control. We've turned it into an interface, and we have control of the lights, okay, with the software. Now we can go into any one of these and edit it here in edit, but before we do that, let's go up one and let's start from the beginning. Here's the patch tab. In the patch tab, you can see all of the fixtures, including these are all of our house light dimmer channels, and then here's our stage lights, and here's our color. Okay, these are our moving heads right here. Okay, so you can see all our figures. That's called the mapping. So they're all mapped out here in the right channels. And when we go down to edit and go down to the bottom, you can see that we have we can drag these and put them in place. So we've put all of our stage fixtures here, and we've just put all of our house lights and things here on the end, including the moving heads and everything. We haven't arranged any of that yet, but you can arrange them so it basically looks like the room. Here at the bottom you see some tabs. There's single channel, and when I click that, all of our dimmer packs and everything pop up. There's our LB par hex, that's our stage lights. Now I can make some adjustments to them. And then here's our moving heads here. So and our other moving heads. So let's, just for sake of example, let's go to the LB Par Hex, which are our theatrical stage lights. You can see they're outlined. They're flickering because they are turned on. If they're not turned on full, then they will flicker unless they're turned on full, but it just lets you know that they are active. And I can select all of them, and I've got intensity, and then I've got red, green, blue, amber, white, UV. I've got a shutter, which is basically just leaves it on full and shutters it in program. So these on the end are kind of probably never get used. Occasionally you may use UV in a skit or something like that. So intensity and color are our main ones. You can see that we've used amber and white to get the color temperature that we want. The mixture between those will give us the color temperature we want. So I'm adjusting all of them. So if I just click on one, now I'm just seeing one of them. And I can adjust the intensity there. And you can see right there in the middle of the choir where I'm adjusting it. I can just use that one fixture. And so if we go down, we'll go down to the single channel, and then we can basically, we've got up and down, because if I click on one, I can turn it up and turn it down, and that's pretty much the extent of it. Let's see. Okay, so that's, let's go back. I'll show you one more thing. On the LB Par Hex that we've got for the stage lights, I've got my faders, which is probably where you're going to live most of the time. But there's also a palette where you can move the color wheel around until you get the color exactly the way you want it. A little bit more of a fine tuning there. And then there are some effects that get used mostly in DJ scenarios. But okay, so that's the in the edit window. Once we get it the way we want it, if we want to run it in, run the show in the software, we will go to the live button, and we can then click through them and change them that way. The show allows us to actually program and map this out for the app. There is an app that is web-based, so it'll work on any mobile device, but it'll allow you to play certain functions within that, and then when you bring that up on your phone, you have those functions available if you're on the same network. Okay, so how do we, if we make changes to our settings of our lights, how do we set that on the MyDMX RM and convert and shift that over there to there? So we will go to Tools, and you'll see the Hardware Manager. In the Hardware Manager, you can see that it comes up, it calls it the MyDMX3 rack, and if I click on it, then it shows us that everything here. Now I can erase it in here. I can update the firmware. I can do all kinds of things here. But if we're just going to be loading onto it, there's two steps that you need to be aware of. Way over here, I've got to be in the Edit button here to load. So if I'm in the Edit button and I come over here to this fourth little button on Triggers, and it says Edit Port Mapping. And if I click on that, well, first of all, I need to click on a scene, and then I can port map it. So I'll click on that button right there. Takes it a minute, and you see it comes up port triggering. That's basically what we're doing with this unit. And the device is the MyDMX3 rack, and you can see I've already got it on port 1. So that's correct. That's button 1 on the MyDMX rack. If I have multiple units, I can do the drop down and it'll show multiple units. And I should be able to, if I go to each one of these, I've already set it up so that these are already, and I can edit each one of these, but they are in order like the buttons. So I can, they already should be set up. If I go down through there, it'll show the port number associated with it. I can change that though, so be mindful of that. I can add more to it, so I'm only using 8 out of 15. 16 actually. So I can add to that, and then I'll just click on whatever the one that I've added and bring up the port triggering, and then select the device and then set it to 9, 10, and so on. Alright, so we'll just cancel here. So once the port triggering is mapped, we'll go to Tools, Standalone, because that's basically what we want to do. We want to make this standalone. And then we see this screen. So this is the show, meaning this is what we've got going on the software. And here's our device. You can see that we've got the same things here, except we don't have the blackout button, do we? So let's go over here and we'll click blackout. Let's see, or do I drag it? Yeah, I drag it over. So now I've got it on the device as well. And so what I can drag these actually back and forth. As I add them, it'll show up here on the software, and I can drag them over to here. And OK. Just to make sure, we'll go to the blackout button, since that wasn't on there, and confirm that it is actually sent to port 8. And if it says address something, don't worry about that. It is not, so we will put it on port 8. OK. Now we should be good to go, but let's go back now, because we forgot a really important step. We've got it all on here. We're going to write it. Memory written successfully.